Hey everyone. Yesterday we got the Dark Fina Sol tag unit banner. There was no NVA with them that came. Sadly, I would have liked Draconian Princess Fina, but alas, let's not fret about it. Draconian Princess Fina is coming next week with Axed and Cleo, apparently. So this is going to be a rather short video, so let's dive right into Dark Fina Sol, a triple element magic DPS, fire, earth and dark. Their Trustmaster reward is a materia with 30% unconditional magic, 30% magic when wearing a rod, which is rather common, and 30% magic if you're wearing a whip, which is rather rare. The Super Trustmaster is a super strong rod with 198 magic, 50% equipment magic true dual hand with 25% accuracy, and 50% magic for true dual wielding, so when you're dual wielding rods, for example. Division card called Festive Preparations Team Sages has 40% base magic and 100 base HP at level 1, and at level 10 90 base magic, 200 base HP. Their 4 and 7 passives are 25% magic with rod and 25% magic with rope, both the most common equipment slots for mages, pretty much, so 100% in total. The level 10 passive is 30% fire, earth and dark resistance to FFBE units only. So let's check out their abilities, their base abilities. They don't have that many base abilities, as you can see. Most notably, they have a 150% demon killer for 4 turns to all allies, and it's not only magical but physical as well. 5 turns cooldown, available turn 1. That is pretty good. It's a rare type of killer with demon, and it also mitigates damage, physical and magical damage from demons by 15% as well. One thing to note too is their Deflagrating Heat Plus, which is a 100x fire magic damage. That is very strong if you compare this to the other abilities such as Scarlet Heat, which is an 80x fire magic to all enemies, which is going to cause trouble in Dark Visions. As you might know, when you cast an all enemies attack, they tend to break as soon as the boss is dead. So I'd rather use the Dark Execution skill. It's lower modifier at 77x, but it's dark magic and single target, which is the most important part for Dark Visions. But other than that, say any trials, you would probably use the fire ability because it has the higher modifier, and it also increases LB gauge by 6 crystals per cast. So yeah, that's not bad. They also have a 120 fire, earth and dark resistance imperil to the enemies for 4 turns. That does not have a cooldown, that's just an ability you can use. It also has 30x magic damage, which can be immune, obviously, if it tells you that, and 50% spirit ignore, which makes this hit rather unexpectedly hard. And they also buff their LB damage via the 2 Sages Awakening cooldown by 200%. Not the highest, but it's okay, it's in the higher areas. And they also unlock the quad cast from that ability. Notable things about their passives: they do have 200 true dual hand magic passively, and they also have 150% innate passive dual wielding magic equipment, which is very cool. All you will need is pretty much their own STMR, and you've already capped the true dual wield equipment magic. So that's cool. They also have the 6x chain modifier cap. It's down here, dual blade mastery, as you can see. They are easy to gear. I mean, they only have 100% LB damage increase, so you kind of have to get 200% from gearing, but it's the least of problems these days, I feel like. Let's check out the LB. It's attack with 24 hits, 100x dark magic attack to all enemies. And the Power of Chaos ability, it restores 50% HP and 25% MP to the caster, and it also increases their magic for 4 turns. I mean, you're going to use the magic increase anyway, so I don't see a reason why this Power of Chaos also increases magic if you're forced to use the LB boost anyway. So as you can see, Two Sages Awakening increases magic by 300% and also LB damage by 200%. So the LB increasing magic to the caster only is kind of useless. It would have been cool if their LB would increase magic by 300 to all allies. From my perspective, that would have been the most logical thing, yeah. But oh well. Alright, let's check out their Brave Shift stuff. Their Brave Shift abilities, there seem to be more, but it's just more text. So as you can see, here they specialize more so in earth damage. As you can see, they have an 85, that is very strong, 85 earth magic attack, which also has the 120 earth resistance in parallel. That is pretty sweet, if you're asking me. So there's no, from my point of view, there's no need to cast Cosmic Devastation. It has lower damage, and well, it provides more imperils, but I'd rather use Umber Devastation. And the other notable thing over here is Power of the Earth Crystal. That one cures Merc Breaks, which isn't that necessary at the moment, but it might be rather soon, I believe. It also has 90% resistance to Fire, Earth and Dark, and it also amplifies Earth magic by 15% to all allies. And that is really cool. I mean, FaZe still has more at 25, but it's locked to her Brave Shifted LB. So 15% Earth magic amplify, physical and magical. It's something to take note of, I would say. And also take a look at Earth Crystal Duo. It's available on turn 4 and it hits like a truck. It's 7 hits at 140x modifier. It is Earth magic. So if you have a boss that is weak to Earth magic, especially in Dark Vision's March Forward, where the damage cap is unlocked for the 3 final bosses, she's going to be one of your stronger damage dealers. So let's check out her LB. And as you can see, her LB is rather unique. It has 135 Earth Imperil. She's the only one with a 135 Earth Imperil in the game. But the downside is her LB has a rather low modifier. It's only 120x, as you can see. So her turn 4 ability hits considerably stronger. Well, technically, the LB still will produce higher numbers because you can actually boost LB damage. But if you just compare it side by side, the turn 4 thing is technically stronger. But if you account for the LB increase, the LB is still pretty strong. But keep in mind, 120x LBs are rather weak. So let's evaluate their Trustmaster and Super Trustmaster. Again, the Trustmaster is 30% magic, no conditions, 30% magic when wearing a rod, and 30% for whip. So the materia itself, nobody uses whips ever. I mean, the last time you did was probably when Quistis, the free unit from Final Fantasy VIII, was released. And that's about it. Nobody ever used it again. And the rest of it is okay. I mean, 60 magic is still okay. But, well, we've got better stuff. And you also have to consider this fights for materia slots with killers and LB damage alike. So I'd rather not use their own Trustmaster. It might be good on the other units, but even then, I'd rather not use this. And their Super Trustmaster, well, what is there to say, right? 198 magic, there's only one rod that has more, and it's the Dark Vision rod. It also has 50% equipment magic through dual hand or through dual wield, whichever you're choosing to equip. It's just really good. If you're pulling for Dark Fina Sol, I'm pretty sure you're not pulling for the damage, but for the STMR, because that STMR, boy, is it good. That is a really strong STMR. Now let's move on to the vision card. I also included the animation. It's I like the animation. I like pretty much all vision cards. They look cute. I like the sprites and the animation. They look really cool. All right. So level 1 and 10, 40 to 90 magic, 100 to 200 base HP. Level 4 and 7 passives, 25 magic from rods and ropes, meaning 100 in total, which is strong. Their passive, 30% fire, earth, and dark resistance for FFBE units only. Now, the magic, the base magic I'm referring to at 90 is okay. We do have better ones, but it's okay. I mean, Sol's vision card is probably better for pure damage. However, the level 10 passive with 30% fire, earth, and dark resistance might be super strong for dark visions. You'd equip their vision card to any unit, to any FFBE unit, I should say, and you might actually forego the whole resistance stuff, right? Most of us, for end bosses, especially like Dark Anima, imagine Dark Anima would use dark and fire. You'd equip this vision card to your magic DPS, and you do not have to worry about fire and dark anymore because you just covered them. And most of us use 70% resistance spells to do to reach the 100% threshold to be resisting every magic. So this card has uses in Dark Visions and maybe even for trials, where you have to have the necessary resistance on your DPS. Although for trials, I'm probably not going to use it. Phasey, unless the magic attacks are uncoverable, Phasey, or rather sooner than later, Beatrix will just cover them. Yeah, the base HP I'm not liking too much. It's basically useless to anyone who uses this card. And I'd like to have this card more flexibility. Being FFBE only kind of makes me sad, to be honest. It's a decent card nonetheless for FFBE units. Okay, so yeah, I know there's a lot of information missing on this one. As you might know, the FFBE builder is down due to server outrages, and their backup server, well, it does not have any pictures. So I'm sorry, but I thought it's better to have something to show you on this, and you can see the equipment names at least, than nothing. So the Japanese name is, for whatever reason, the builder, the new builder doesn't have the current weapons, so I had to use the Japanese name for Dark Sol and Fina, but that's their STMR basically. And yeah, their base form and Brave Shift form do not really differ much. I could have used Black Roselia on the base form as well. I just wanted to show you that there is wiggle room for both, for example. So both forms have 300% LB damage, but I should say that their Brave Shift rotation might use the Earth Crystal Duo attack, which is a 140x mod attack. I included this in this Brave Shift rotation. What you do on turn 3 is entirely up to you. That's why I left this one out and just had turn 4 X plus X and finish it off with the Earth Crystal Duo. And again, if this is the first banner review you're watching from me, keep in mind when I'm calculating the average LB burst damage, I only use the own buffs and debuffs. So meaning this only accounts for the 15% Earth Imperil, and then for the 15% Earth Amplify, 135 Earth Imperil, the 300% Magic boost, and the 200% LB boost. These are the only buffs and imperils that I'm accounting for. And 1.6 billion, that is way higher than Near Vision Lastwell did, for example. So yeah, and the Earth Crystal attack, it's rather on this, if you have to account for max chaining on that one, and if you use it, I didn't include the turn 4 burst damage because that would have inflated the number. It would have been higher because since this is a tag attack, you have to actually account for the chain effect, and if you include chaining, it would have topped out the LB damage burst by quite a large margin, and I would have had to adjust the LB damage to include chain, cap, etc., etc. And that doesn't make any sense, so I left it out. Okay. So yeah, how do they fare in the meta? They have strong magic burst, but rather weak sustained damage. Near Vision Physalis is 3% stronger than Sol and Fina. However, Near Vision Physalis is pretty much locked to ice, while Sol and Fina have a little bit more flexibility. They have a 135 Earth Imperil, which is super unique. They also have the 70% damage against broken enemies. Please keep in mind, this one doesn't work, it's bugged, and it's going to be fixed, hopefully, at the end of February when Gumi updates the client, where we all have to update the game on the Google Play server again. So yeah, also worth noting is that that there isn't any, or that there aren't many bosses that use the break gauge, right? So we've got Bahamut right now, and Ymir is the next one, and nothing in between has them. So for example, Ashura, she doesn't have that. So it's cool on paper, but useless in real use. Their STMR is superb, pretty much must have. They have a 150 physical and magical demon killer for the whole party for 4 turns, at 5 turns cooldown. That is pretty good. Demon killer is rather rare, and especially a party buff is good to have. Their 50% Earth Amp is huge for themselves, but they also provide the Earth Amp to the whole team. I forgot to include that in the slide. The Earth Amp is not only for themselves, but for the whole party, which makes this even better. But keep in mind, it's worse or weaker than 25% from Phasey, but hers is locked to Delby. What I'm finding interesting is that they have no amplify in base form. Oversight or by intention, I don't know. I think it's a bad idea. So in conclusion, Sol and Fina, Dark Fina and Sol are pretty powerful magic damage healer, but they get overshadowed rather quickly. So should you pull? That is the most important question, right? So if you didn't pull for Terra, you'll find a decent magic finisher here for Dark Visions. But if you're looking for a high sustained damage unit, we've already got Physalis, she's 3% stronger. But like I said just now, a minute ago, Dark Fina and Sol are more flexible. They have 3 elements, Dark, Fire and Earth, and all of them are rather equal to each other with slight advantages to the Earth damage. 70% break damage, still good on paper, but useless most of the time. And yeah, the conclusion is pretty much it's not worth pulling, or they are not worth pulling for. The STMR is great though. So the star of the banner is your ever increasing Lapis stash, and the good option is just off banner them sometime. I mean, March Dark Visions will see the uncapping of the final 3 bosses. So Terra alone, while she will contribute a lot to the damage, she won't be enough to get you to the top 10 ranks, for example. You will have to use many strong DPSers, and Dark Fina and Sol might be one of them. But you also, by the time we are in March, we'll also have Faris, for example, who is also super strong evoke damage dealer. She doesn't even need to finish. She's so strong that you can just chain with her as well. So yeah, I mean, she's not bad. If you pulled for her, it's not the worst option. I personally do not recommend pulling. She just doesn't serve any purpose right now. She will in March for Dark Visions, but I don't see any trial where she will be relevant, at least for now. So yeah, that concludes the banner review. Thank you all for watching. I hope you have a wonderful weekend, and we'll see each other in the next one.